Hello and welcome to the Heart Freedom Masterclass. This is the 5-step foundation to break the cycle of pain and frustration and create unshakable confidence, self-worth, and a life you're excited to wake up to each and every day, whether you're single or in a relationship. I believe everything happens for a reason, including you coming to this masterclass today. Chances are you're finally ready for real change so you can experience a massive shift in your life. So we're going to dive right in. Now, who is this for? This is for you if you've decided you are truly done with a cycle of toxic relationships and you want to be sure that you never, ever, ever go back. Or you've ended a bad relationship or marriage, but find you keep attracting men who are narcissistic, emotionally unavailable, or just simply don't have the same kind of drive and vision that you have. This is for you if you are a successful, career-driven woman with your life together in other areas, but you're guilty of settling for less in love. This is for you if you know you're a great catch, but may wonder if a healthy relationship is even possible for you, or if all the good ones are taken. This is for you if you recognize that you can't keep doing what you've been doing and hope for different results. This is for you if you want to be happy to be single and yet also become a magnet for relationships that add to your joy instead of draining it. Who this isn't for. This isn't for you if you feel helpless, hopeless, and paralyzed by fear. This isn't for you if you're convinced that just researching more about your ex's narcissism, codependency, or mental illness will suddenly transform your life. This isn't for you if you haven't firmly decided to move on or you're trapped in denial, secretly hoping your ex will become the person they once pretended to be. This isn't for you if you insist you're a victim who's powerless to change and refuse to consider looking at your role as the common denominator in your painful patterns. So now we can dive in. In the next 45 minutes or so, I'm going to guide you on a journey to unshakable confidence and fearlessness, deep self-love, trust, and acceptance, and feeling worthy of all the best that life and love have to offer, even if you wonder if it's possible for you. You'll learn how to create a life you're excited to wake up to every day, whether you're single or in a relationship. We'll unlock your ability to attract a secure, emotionally available partner who is your best companion, supporter, and lover, even if you think you have a broken picker-outer. You'll learn how to break free from codependency, people-pleasing, and anxious attachment patterns, even if years of talk therapy haven't brought the changes you need. And we'll do all this without the endless cycle of researching narcissism, more therapy, taking more time off dating, or relying on quick fixes that just simply don't work. Because I know you're ready to move beyond all of that toward true healing and transformation. My promise to you is that by the end of this masterclass, you're going to have a solid foundation for healing your past, ending self-sabotage, and becoming the best version of you so you can finally live a life that feels naturally joyful and aligned with your soul. So, before we get into the juicy details, let's check in. Does this sound like you? Do you have it together in other parts of your life? In other words, you have always been super focused, determined, and action-oriented. Do you have big, audacious goals and feel that you're destined for great things? Do you hold yourself to high standards and yet always seem to settle in love? Are you really good at living two different lives, putting on a brave face for others while you're feeling really broken inside? Is your hyper-independence at odds with your need to be vulnerable and ask for help? Are you always striving to meet the needs and expectations of others while neglecting your own self-care? Do you struggle to keep up appearances out of fear of disappointing other people? Do you feel alone and lonely, even in relationships, feeling like no one truly understands you? Do you suffer with guilt and shame for not making the choices you know are best for you, or feel like you're too old to start over? Do you dream of a life of freedom, joy, love, and adventure, but feel like maybe it's just not in the cards for you? Do you distract yourself with busyness and dread the end of the workday, afraid to be alone with your thoughts and feelings? Do you feel like your ambition has kicked you out of balance and you haven't cultivated the deeply connected relationships that make a life of joy? Do you feel isolated and alone, wondering what your future has in store for you? Do you ever replay your past relationships, wondering where you went wrong and wondering if it was all your fault? Do you feel emotionally miles away from your kids, even though you're physically there? Do you feel worried they're going to continue the cycle in their own relationships? Do you feel like you did all the things you're supposed to do to heal after your divorce or last relationship? Took time off dating, got back into therapy, read books, watched self-help videos, joined groups, but still wound up in another toxic relationship? Do you question your ability to spot red flags and communicate healthy boundaries? Are you worried your unhealed patterns will lead to sabotaging a great relationship if you did find one? Do you know there's more out there for you and still have hope that you can rediscover your true self and potentially find and be a healthy partner? Are you willing to admit you can't figure it out on your own and open to seeking help in discovering how to finally break through? If any of those things resonate for you, I know how you feel. In fact, I used to feel the same way. However, what I found is that none of those fears are the actual problem. They are based on false beliefs that you've learned from growing up and from society based on what you've observed and internalized in the past. The real issue is that you haven't built the foundation for a new, empowered paradigm. Tapping into your true power by implementing the 5 shifts I'm about to cover with you, you'll wake up feeling excited about life's possibilities. You'll develop resilience, maintaining your peace despite the challenges on the road ahead, turning roadblocks into stepping stones. You'll become free from your painful past and say goodbye to resentment and the habit of focusing on what you can't control. You'll become a conscious co-creator of your life instead of a hapless victim. Once you make these shifts in your thinking, you'll feel authentic, aligned, comfortable in your own skin, and 100% whole and complete by yourself, even if you've never felt that way before. You'll embrace vulnerability and step outside of your comfort zone more frequently. You'll get clear on what matters and won't hide in work or busyness. You'll feel secure in your worthiness, whether you're in a relationship or not. You'll have a deeper relationship with your kids because you're more emotionally available for yourself. You'll more easily recognize red flags and set strong, healthy boundaries in relationships. Dating will become more like an adventure that you go on into willingly out of curiosity and fearlessness. You'll develop emotional self-reliance and no longer feel neediness or dependence on anything outside of you. You'll cultivate a healthy environment, improving your physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual health. You'll repel people who would take advantage of you in the past and attract those who honor and celebrate you for who you are while supporting you in who you are becoming. So you might be asking yourself, who is this person talking to me right now? My name is Stephanie McPhail. I'm a globally recognized expert in toxic relationship recovery. For the last 10 years, I've helped professional women break the cycle of pain and frustration in love, gain unshakable confidence and clarity, improve their self-worth and self-esteem, reignite their passion and purpose, and become a magnet for soulfully aligned relationships when endless researching, trial and error, and years of therapy haven't worked. As a certified crisis counselor and coach with a double master's degree in health and education and a bachelor's in psychology, not to mention my own experience overcoming a decades-plus long pattern of unhealthy relationships, I have been a sought-after guest on countless summits and podcasts. I also host my own top 2.5% globally rated podcast, Toxic Love Transformation, as well as a weekly cable show called Kick Unhealthy Relationships to the Curb, where I've interviewed great guests like Denzel Washington. I'm the author of Being Love Shouldn't Hurt book and workbook and have been featured in NBC, ABC, Fox, and New York Weekly, just to name a few. I'm also on the core council of experts for healing codependency with Avaya University. The 5 shifts I'm about to share with you came from my own deeply personal healing journey. I grew up in a home where chaos was the norm. My mom struggled with an undiagnosed mental illness, and my dad, though supportive, had a temper and was emotionally dependent on her. There were days when my mom was playful and we'd laugh and enjoy each other's company, but in a heartbeat she'd flip and suddenly blame us kids for anything going wrong in her life. My dad, often at her side, would follow suit, yelling, screaming, and at times even hitting us at her request. This left me feeling confused, hurt, and trapped in a cycle of mistrust. I didn't trust my mom, but I also felt sympathy for my dad. My dad was predictable, but with my mom, we never knew what version of her we'd get. She lacked emotional stability, and as the eldest of 3 daughters, I took it upon myself to play the role of peacekeeper. I felt it was my job to manage the household chaos, to intervene between my parents or step in when my mom threatened my dad. I became the protector, but this was the perfect setup for codependency. I didn't even know what a boundary was until I was 34 years old. I spent my entire childhood believing that the constant fighting was somehow my fault. And as I grew up, I internalized the idea that keeping the peace was my responsibility. Fast forward to adulthood. From around 23 to 36, I immersed myself in therapy, devoured self-help books, and watched countless videos, desperate to break free from my past and not become like my parents. But no matter how much therapy I went through, my romantic relationships only seemed to worsen. After my first marriage crumbled, which was both physically and emotionally abusive, I had a moment of clarity that changed everything. I distinctly remember hearing a voice as clear as day telling me, "You need to be your own knight in shining armor. Stop waiting for someone else to come and save you, and save yourself." That was my turning point. I realized in that moment that everything I had done up until that point hadn't worked because I had been focusing on what others had done to me. It was time to take full responsibility for my own healing. I committed to staying out of relationships and figuring out who I truly was. I hired a coach, I changed who I spent time with, and I did things that I loved. For the first time in my life, I found joy in being single. I became so happy with myself that I didn't need a relationship to feel complete. I applied the right tools, focused on my growth, and created a life that made me excited to wake up each and every day. I let go of control. I stopped forcing things, and instead, I followed where my soul led me. And in the most unexpected way, when I no longer felt the need for a relationship, I attracted my partner, someone who is my best friend. Now, together, we have 2 beautiful children and a life I never could have imagined possible. My reason for sharing what I've discovered is to show you that no matter how things got bad or for how long they've been that way, with a few simple shifts, you too can create and attract all the best that life and love has to offer. So let's dive in. The first shift is to prioritize your self-care. What do I mean by this? You may have heard the expression, "You can't pour from an empty cup." I know you've spent most of your life giving, taking care of others, bending over backwards to make sure everyone else is happy. You might even think you have to earn your worth by being selfless. But here's the truth. The more you give without giving to yourself, the more you abandon yourself in the process. And listen, I get it. Being selfish feels wrong. I mean, that's what we've been taught, right? You fear being seen as self-centered or cold like the people who hurt you. But here's where the shift needs to happen. Being selfish in the right way is actually the most selfless thing you can do. Because when you take care of yourself first, you're able to show up as your best version of you for everybody else. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths, weekly manicures, or a vacation retreat. I mean, don't get me wrong, those things are nice. But real self-care is about making hard, emotional choices that prioritize you. It's about setting boundaries, learning to say no, and refusing to let your fear of abandonment, people-pleasing tendencies, or anxiety about being alone keep you stuck in toxic relationships. It's choosing yourself each and every day, even when it's uncomfortable. High-achieving women like you are natural problem solvers. We've been trained to push through problems, believing that if you work harder, everything will eventually turn around. But here's the problem. The more you fight for others without fighting for yourself, the more you abandon your own emotional well-being. And the longer you remain selfless to a fault, the less trust you'll have in yourself. You start to feel drained and numb, like you're losing yourself bit by bit. The truth is, the longer you go without prioritizing yourself, the more you'll overwork, overperform, and overgive, all to feel lovable or needed, but at the cost of abandoning yourself. And the cycle ends today. To truly give your best to others, you need to take care of yourself first. You don't have to earn your worth by being everything to everyone. By being unapologetically selfish in the right ways, you reclaim your power, restore your energy, and rediscover yourself. And only then can you show up in relationships, work, and life with the fullness of who you really are. So let's stop believing that selflessness means losing yourself. Start by choosing you. I want to share with you Rachel's story. Rachel's a 40-something-year-old who has her PhD in nursing. When she came to us, she was going through a divorce from her abusive husband. This was not her first unhealthy relationship. And now that she had a child, she did not want to keep up the same patterns that she had as a teenager. She spent years focusing on everybody else and not making herself a priority. She was feeling overwhelmed in her career and felt pretty isolated. She struggled with a shame spiral, feeling like she wasn't doing enough, and she carried the weight of perfectionism, always believing she had to have it all together or people would think something was wrong with her. Despite years of therapy, she still struggled with boundaries in her relationships and her career and was still very focused on her ex. But after working with us, she was able to set up healthy boundaries, create a community where she felt seen, and ended up finding a wonderful man she is now happily married to, and finally, in her mid-40s, felt secure in her own skin, confident, and at peace emotionally. Here's what Rachel said. I never could have imagined how much easier life could be once I did the work, especially since I had been struggling for so long. This has been a life-changing experience for me. That was shift number 1, prioritize your self-care. Now, let's move on to shift number 2, which is crucial. Drop avoidance, victimhood, and the blame game. Now, this in no way is meant to diminish or make you responsible for things that have happened to you that were out of your control. Although blaming or focusing on others might feel like a relief in the moment, it robs you of the power to grow. I know how tempting it is to stay focused on what wounded you, the betrayal, the hurt, the moments that you left that you felt so broken, and it's easy to feel like a victim when you've been through so much. But here's the hard truth. As long as you stay in the mindset of blame, you stay stuck. When you focus on what others did wrong, you give away your power. It's like keeping an emotional wound open and wondering why it never heals. But healing requires a radical shift. A shift from looking at the past to learning from it. That's how you reclaim your power. The people who hurt you, they were likely messed up themselves and didn't do what they needed to do to heal. It doesn't mean what they did was right, and it doesn't mean you have to excuse their behavior, but it does mean you have to stop replaying those moments in your mind if you want to grow beyond them. The more time you spend rehashing the past, the more energy you drain from the life that you are currently building. So how do you step out of this cycle? By being radically self-honest. Look at where you have control over your life, not with judgment or blame, but with compassion. Ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? Because every experience, no matter how painful, has a lesson wrapped inside. And the moment you decide to learn from it, instead of being defined by it, you begin to grow. You step out of victimhood and into empowerment. Avoidance won't get you there either. Pretending everything is fine, smiling through the pain, staying busy with your career, or sweeping your emotions under the rug only prolongs your suffering. True growth requires you to face your truth head-on, even when it's uncomfortable. It requires you to stop avoiding and to start confronting. Only then can you move forward. Here's the real shift. You can't change the past, but you can change your future. And that starts by dropping the blame game, letting go of what you can't control, and choosing to take ownership of what you can. It's about stepping into your power to create the life that you love. The moment you let go of blame, you free yourself from the chains of the past. And that's when true healing begins. It's not about what happened to you. It's about where you're going now. Step out of the shadows of victimhood and into the light of your own power, because you have the power to heal, the power to grow, and the power to create the life that you truly deserve. So now let's move on to the third shift, which is one of the most important. Implement a system to heal and thrive. It's been said that we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. So many professional women with great aspirations struggle with lack of clarity and direction when it comes to healing their hearts. I know personally that the guesswork, self-doubt, and uncertainty when you're starting a new chapter in your life can be extremely frustrating. We've been told that we should hire a therapist, read self-help books, attend support groups, and join 12-step programs. While these have their place and can be beneficial, many women we work with have done all those things and still haven't made significant progress in their lives. They struggle under information overload, therapists who don't give them the right tools that they need or lack empathy and deep understanding, and a support group who does little more than commiserate over how bad things have gotten. This may give us the temporary comfort of validation. However, with the insights gained from a qualified therapist, self-help author, or support group, we still struggle with implementation and making real change. It was as a result of my own frustration at gaining no traction that I developed our exclusive system to help professional women heal and thrive after toxic relationships, the Heart Freedom Formula. This simple but powerful 3-pillar framework has enabled hundreds of my clients to break the cycle and quickly reclaim their power faster than they thought possible. especially when they've tried everything else without results. The first pillar of the Heart Freedom Formula is guidance. You can spend months reading and researching, years in therapy, and countless hours asking friends, family, coworkers, and your psychic medium for advice. But there's one important principle I've discovered. Don't seek guidance from those who are close to you. Seek guidance from those who are close to your goals. Drawing not only from my years of education and research, but my real-life experience in overcoming half a lifetime of toxic relationships. My intuitive and nuanced guidance has helped countless clients have those aha moments, connecting the dots in ways they've never been able to see before, so they can finally set off full steam into a new empowered direction. The second pillar of the Heart Freedom Formula is support. Well-meaning friends and family who care for you, or a therapist with no personal experience overcoming toxic relationships, or maybe even how to have healthy ones themselves, are simply not best suited to help you get the leverage on yourself to change. When the people in your circle are so busy with their own lives and you're seeing a therapist every few weeks or even once a week, it's easy to fall off course and backslide. Plus, it can be frustrating to feel like no one really gets you. It's no wonder so many professional women have become hyper-independent and have trouble feeling like they have a safe space where they're truly supported and understood. One of the most cherished aspects of our system is our private clients-only community, a safe, non-judgmental space where professional women can be surrounded by like-minded individuals who are also committed to healing and living their best lives after divorce or breakup. The care, compassion, and camaraderie is exceptionally nurturing, whether we're supporting you through challenges or celebrating your wins as they stack up every day. My clients also have unlimited access to me for coaching and support 7 days a week, as well as personalized daily and weekly accountability to help them course correct and build momentum along their path in real time. The third pillar of the Heart Freedom Formula is the tools for real transformation. Most women who see a therapist or try self-help methods only hope to gain conscious insight that magically heals their guilt, shame, self-doubt, and low confidence. They try to build up motivation to push through, but when the challenges of their situation come up, they find themselves backsliding into old patterns, repeating the same cycles of self-sabotage. This is why so many women resign themselves to seeing a therapist for the rest of their lives, or losing hope entirely. The fact is that insights gained through therapy and reading books are rarely sufficient to create real, lasting change. Enter our mindset hacking protocol. Timeless wisdom says you get what you think about whether you want it or not. Have you noticed yourself waking up in the morning and going to bed at night thinking about everything that's gone wrong or could go wrong? Well, energy flows where attention goes, and our mindset is a self-fulfilling prophecy. What most people don't realize is that 95% of the thoughts we have on a daily basis are the same ones we had the day before, which is why the cycle continues. Those thoughts are simply a result of our subconscious programming. The stories we've concluded are true about us. What's crazy is that this negative programming keeps us from recognizing the abundant opportunities for peace and joy that are right in front of us. For example, your ideal partner could bump into you at the grocery store. But if your programming says things like, I'm not worthy or deserving of a great relationship, you'll completely miss out on the chance for deeply fulfilling love. What's more, these programs determine our success in every area of life, including our self-esteem, personal power, relationships, physical health, financial prosperity, resilience to stress, and our spiritual connection. Among the most powerful tools for transformation in our system is a method of energy psychology that allows you to quickly and easily access your personality at its core and rewrite unhealthy programs that are out of alignment with your true divine nature. This one tool alone has been responsible for creating more positive change for many of our clients than all their years of therapy and counseling combined. And it can happen as quickly as editing a Word document. It's one thing to struggle to think, feel, and act like a healthy person. It's something else to fundamentally become the healed, whole, and happy version of you who easily and naturally attracts the wonderful life that's meant for you. So having a proven system, including the guidance, support, and tools for real transformation, can be an absolute game changer. Let me tell you Claudine's story. Claudine was in her late 40s when she came to us after a particularly difficult breakup. She had a successful career in banking, but felt underpaid and underappreciated while also still feeling stuck in her past relationship. When she first came to us, she was totally lost. She would drive by her ex's house, make excuses to go talk to him, but admitted it was the worst relationship she had ever been in, and she had been married before. Despite having tons of therapy, going to church, and doing personal work, she was stuck in a trauma bond and had daily anxiety to the point where she could barely get out of bed in the morning, and it was affecting her relationship with her adult kids and even her career. After working with us and applying our mindset hacking method, she was released from therapy. Her therapist even said, "I would love to know who you're working with because you're doing great. I don't think you need to come here anymore." Claudine then realized that the next shift was her career and ended up applying to her dream job, got it, and was offered 3 times what she was making before, and they even moved her to San Diego. She got more time to learn how to scuba dive, ride a motorcycle, navigate a boat, and more financial freedom. She became emotionally closer to her kids and even just recently started her own nonprofit. This is a woman who just a few years ago could barely get out of bed and was hyperfixated on her past relationship. And now she's thriving. That was the third shift, implementing a reliable, proven system to heal. Now let's talk about shift number 4, which is a challenging but critical piece. Make a decision and commit to your process. You've probably heard it before. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. But here's what no one tells you. The most powerful changes in your life come from the decisions that you make daily, not the ones that you make in crisis. And the key to the true transformation? Commitments. You can't change your life by dipping one toe in. You can't half commit and expect full results. The truth is, if you're not fully in, you're out. And I get it. Committing to change is hard because it means facing the unknown, leaving behind what's familiar and embracing discomfort. But here's what you need to understand. Your future self depends on the decisions you make right now. The version of you who is confident, healed, and thriving is waiting for you to choose her every single day. The good news is you don't need to overhaul your entire life all at once or have it all figured out. That's overwhelming and unrealistic. What you can do is give yourself the slight edge. Small, consistent steps taken each day lead to massive results over time. It's about making a decision right now to take the next best step, even if it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Don't wait for the perfect moment or for everything to feel ready. The truth is, if you keep waiting, you'll keep procrastinating. What you need is start implementing new ideas immediately. Stop thinking about how great it would be to change your life and start acting on those thoughts. Start with one decision, one action, and commit to it fully. The energy you put into that decision is the energy that shapes your future. Think about it. Every small choice is either moving you closer to your goals or further away. And every time you choose to delay, you're giving up power to your future self. You're telling her that her dreams, her peace, her joy aren't worth fighting for today. But they are. So don't half-ass this. The process of healing, growth, and transformation requires your full presence and your full commitment. No shortcuts, no excuses. It's about showing up for yourself day in and day out, knowing that each step forward is creating the life that you've been waiting for. So today, make a decision. Not just a vague intention to change, but a commitment to your process. Decide that you're done with procrastination, that you're done with dipping one foot in and wondering why things don't change. It's not easy for the butterfly to break out of her cocoon, but only by embracing the discomfort and not giving up will she develop the strength to fly. You have the power to move the needle in your life, but only if you're willing to give yourself fully to the process. Because here's the truth. Your future self is counting on you. The woman you want to become is already inside of you, and she's waiting for you to show up. Make the hard choices and fully commit to her. When you decide, when you commit, that's when transformation begins. This brings me to Karen's story. Karen had recently divorced a narcissistic alcoholic after 20 plus years of marriage, and her brother had passed away a few years prior. Despite her success in her career, she was having a hard time letting go of the anger over the lies and manipulation from her ex, not to mention the time she felt she lost trying to keep things together. She felt like her upbringing was pretty good, but soon realized there were unresolved issues from growing up that she had not dealt with, and it was adding to her feeling of unworthiness for a healthy relationship. She was stuck in a cycle of ruminating over him and where she went wrong, isolating herself and feeling disconnected from everybody else. Like many of our clients, she had done a lot of therapy and even was in CODA, but nothing was helping her. After 3 months in our program, Karen experienced far less anxiety, started socializing, made new friends, and began stepping out of her comfort zone. She learned to trust her intuition and has even started dating again. She learned to emotionally regulate through stressful moments and move on without suffering. She even found out that she had breast cancer and was able to handle it in a way that was positive for her and bring in her new community to help her through it, no longer being afraid of being alone because she knew that she was loved and cared for. Here's what she had to say. It's been an amazing journey. I'm more emotionally stable than I was when I started. I implemented what I was taught and have created an amazingly supportive community. I'm a happier person today, and I am so grateful. That's the power of decision and commitment. Just start now and make small steps each day. You don't have to have all the answers up front. What you need will find you along the way. Now, let's move on to the final shift. Invest in coaching. I know for some of you watching this, you felt there was no choice but to go at it alone. You may even be proud of your progress in other areas of your life, feeling like you've earned much through the struggle. But here's the truth. There's no merit badge for struggling alone. I know how hard you've worked to make sense of the pain you've been through. Maybe you've tried therapy, read books, or just soldiered on, hoping things would get better with time. But let me ask you, are you still feeling stuck? Are the same patterns repeating even after all that effort? How does life feel for you right now? Here's the thing. There's no time to waste going in circles. What's meant for you is already trying to find you. But first, you have to get out of your own way. And this is where coaching comes in. Therapy is a powerful tool, especially when you're in crisis or need to unpack and understand your past. It helps you process emotions, and it's even often the best choice for those struggling with serious mental health issues. But coaching is different. Coaching is about creating your future, not just understanding your past. Right now, you probably have a set of daily thoughts, emotional habits, and beliefs that are keeping you stuck. As I shared earlier, most of the thoughts you have today are the same ones you had yesterday, and many of those thoughts are self-limiting, like the belief that you're unlovable or that it's safer to stay small than risk getting hurt again. These beliefs impact your actions and ultimately the results you get in your life. If you don't believe you're worthy of love or success, you'll avoid situations that can actually bring you what you want. This is where coaching changes everything. Coaching gives you two major things that are likely missing: new perspectives and leverage. That's the combination you need to break out of the cycle you're in. You need someone who can see your blind spots, challenge your limiting beliefs, and give you the structure and accountability to move forward one step at a time. Coaching isn't about staying stuck in the past. It's about changing your behavior, your mindset, and your results right now. It's about asking, what can we do today to get you closer to the life and love that you want? We don't just talk about your problems, we actively work on solutions, pushing you out of your comfort zone and into the life you deserve. Think about it. How much time have you invested in being great at your career? You've probably trained for years, studied hard, maybe even sacrificed to get where you are. But how much time have you actually invested in mastering the relationship with yourself? That's the relationship that influences every other area of your life. Most people spend more time, energy, and money on distractions, shopping, vacations, peak experiences, or temporary comforts than they do on actually addressing the root causes of their unhappiness. When we lack powerful purpose and passion, we tend to go back to what's comfortable and familiar. But transformation doesn't happen in our comfort zone, and familiarity breeds contempt. Coaching is the investment that shifts that. It's not a quick fix, but it's the most direct path to lasting change. If you're tired of feeling like you're going in circles, if you've tried therapy and still feel stuck, it's time to try something different. You don't need to keep doing this alone. Coaching gives you the tools, accountability, and step-by-step actions to stop repeating the same patterns and start creating the life you've always wanted. Remember, you're not just investing in a coach, you're investing in yourself. You're investing in a future where you're no longer weighed down by emotional baggage, where you're finally free to claim the love, joy, and peace that have always been meant for you. Let me tell you Cindy's story. Cindy, like many of our clients, came to us at a low point. She had just ended her third marriage and spent years in therapy, but was still emotionally stuck on her last divorce. Cindy admitted to continually finding men that needed saving both emotionally and financially, and then losing herself in the process. She had a great career and longed to travel and find a partner she could have adventures with who also worked on themselves. Every day she struggled with anxiety and uncertainty about her future. After working with us, Cindy decided to stop waiting for someone to go on adventures with, and instead she decided she was going to make her own. She booked a month-long trip to Hawaii by herself. After that, she realized her life was hers to do what she wanted with. No more waiting around, and started to live a life that she was excited to wake up to every day. As she created a life on her terms, she met a man that also had the dream and ability to travel, and they've been two peas in a pod ever since. No longer is she dealing with anxiety that was holding her back, and is instead enjoying the life of her creation. Cindy's story is a powerful reminder of what's possible when you invest in yourself. Here's what Cindy had to say. Stephanie and David's program is so worth it. I have probably never been as happy as what I am right now. My life is so good. I'm so happy and getting to do everything I want and just attracting all the right people around me. So today I promise to show you how to deeply trust yourself and create unshakable confidence, even if you secretly feel unlovable, or you're still beating yourself up over past relationship failures. I also promise to teach you how to create a peaceful life that you love, how to become magnetic to secure and emotionally available partners, and how to heal codependency and people-pleasing behaviors, even if you've had years of therapy but are still making the same dysfunctional choices in relationships. Here's a quick recap of the 5 powerful shifts you need to create lasting success in both life and love. Number 1, prioritize your self-care. Stop putting everyone else first and start making yourself a priority. You can't give your best to others until you take care of yourself. Number 2, drop avoidance, victimhood, and the blame game. Take radical responsibility for your healing. Stop focusing on what others did to you and start focusing on what you can control. Number 3, implement a system for transformation. Healing isn't guesswork. You need a structured approach with a guided support and tools to break old patterns and create new ones that support your growth. Number 4, commit to your process. Half-hearted efforts lead to half-hearted results. Decide today to fully commit to your growth and healing, one step at a time. Number 5, invest in coaching. You don't have to do this alone. Get the expert guidance, accountability, and support you need to make real, lasting change for your life. These shifts will help you break free from toxic patterns, heal your past, and create the life and relationships you deserve. Now you have a choice. You can let this information go in one ear and out the other, and go right back to justifying why it's safer to stay small, single, and afraid of putting yourself out there. Or you can listen to that inner voice that made you click on this training for a reason. Something inside you knows that you're meant for more. You know you want a great relationship, but you also know that you've got some work to do on yourself. If that's you, here's how I can help. I've set aside time in the next 48 to 72 hours to speak with you one-on-one, free of charge, about how you can start applying these 5 shifts in your life. We'll spend 45 minutes to an hour developing a step-by-step plan tailored to where you are in your healing journey and what your goals are, whether that's falling in love with your life post-divorce or attracting your first healthy relationship after a toxic one. Again, the session is free, but it's not for everyone. It's only for you if you meet these criteria. You're successful in your career and in most areas of your life, but your love life is the one place you feel stuck. You're single or divorced and not hoping to get back with your ex. You've invested time in therapy, but know you need something more structured and action-oriented to see real results in your love life. Changing your patterns and feeling happy every day is a high priority for you. You're ready to change now, not when you have more time or when the stars align. If that sounds like you, book your spot while space is still available. We only have a few spots open every week. So if you feel called to take this courageous next step, here's the link to schedule your session. StephanieMcPhail.com/talk. Now, you may be wondering why I've dedicated my life to helping driven women transform their lives. I want big-hearted, amazing women like you to experience the peace, excitement, freedom, joy, and love they dreamed of having since they were little girls. I know the pain of constantly giving your all and still having your heart broken. And I want to help you release your past so you can receive and enjoy the wonderful, exciting life that awaits you. And beyond the sheer joy my husband David and I feel as we get to witness our clients break free, we know that there's a ripple effect of your healing that will impact the lives of your family, kids, friends, colleagues, community, and those whose lives you want to inspire most with your story of overcoming. I also know some of you watching this are done wasting time spinning your wheels and may want our help to quickly start this next chapter. I want to thank you and honor you for being here today. You could have been doing a million other things, but you chose to invest this time in you. I invite you to continue listening to that voice inside you that knows you're meant for more. This is Stephanie McPhail reminding you, you are way stronger than you realize, and your best life may lie just ahead. Have a beautiful day.